Welcome back to Born for This Stories, where we speak the truths no one told us, so you don't have to carry this alone. Welcome back to Born for This Stories. In our last episode, you heard the deeply personal journeys of Ali and Kari, from diagnoses to early intervention, from grief to resilience. Today, we pick up where isolation turns into action. This episode is about what happens after the shock fades, when parents realize that the systems meant to support them often fall short, and connection becomes a lifeline. Ali and Kari are the voices behind the podcast, Parenting Children with Limb Differences, a space created to make sure no parent has to Google their way through grief alone. We talk about why representation matters, how community heals with medicine can't always touch, and what real advocacy looks like when it's led by lived experience. Let's continue the conversation. Oh, well, I feel like I would like for you guys to speak upon maybe the isolation, or like if you felt any isolation and navigating toward how we got together, how you guys met, and then we can talk about what beautiful things you're doing when you met.
Yeah, absolutely. We did feel an incredible amount of isolation when we first started this journey. And it was also what kind of compounded it was in the middle of COVID. And that made things even more tricky because community meetups were limited.
Yep.
And I think, first of all, not having been connected with any resources, having to do all the research, like the mental labor ourselves to figure out like where we needed to go and how we could best support our child,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
We did a ton of research. I think we spoke about it earlier, but we were in all of the forums on social
Mm-hmm.
media, in the groups that are specifically for the limb difference community. And we were trying to find connections in our area. And it took time,
Yeah.
I would say, especially the connection part, probably by the time we got together, I think Tyler was a year and a half. And so all of that time before leading up to that, we were doing it alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yes, early intervention was in the mix because we knew that early intervention was an option. But again, not all people know
Sure.
that they have access to early intervention because it's not really something that's widely spoken about unless your
Yeah.
pediatrician mentions it.
Yeah. And I think that's something like super important to highlight, like going through this, is that if someone is listening with a similar scenario, is that just ask, like
Mhm.
advocate for yourself and your family and ask if you are a candidate for early intervention. I mean, the worst thing they're going to say is no, but
Yes.
it's worth going down the path and trying to figure it out.
And getting the
Yeah.
evaluation, and
Mm-hmm.
if you do get an evaluation and your child does not qualify for services, that file stays open until that child is age 3. So at some
Beautiful.
point down the line, if you're seeing things fall behind and you
Mm-hmm.
do want a reevaluation, you can get that. And Carrie, I know you mentioned earlier that that was something that you weren't aware of, but we do
Right.
want
Mm-hmm.
listeners to know that you can push for it. You don't just have to accept this is
Right.
the answer.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you for
think a
that.
lot of that goes to like, there's a lot of services that families that go through the NICU receive. And I almost think that a lot of those services should immediately apply
Mm-hmm.
to people like patients with disabilities.
Yeah.
And many of those patients with disabilities do start in the NICU also.
Sure.
But it's like just knowing about what services are out there or what like there's some local organizations up here that they provide a kind of support immediately to NICU families. And I think like something like that could have helped me a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I know about it now and I'm shouting
Mhm.
them from the rooftops in our
Yes.
community.
Love it.
But yeah, it's like it just something.
Mhm. Mhm.
would
more
have
would
made
have
an
been
incredible
great.
difference. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
So yeah, we're kind of making something now that we wish we had back then.
Yeah. And what are you making now?
Yeah. So kind of yeah, with those isolation and stuff on my end, it was I was looking for all those meetups and stuff, and there was like during COVID, there was a group that met up in at a park in Chicago, and we wore our masks, and it was great just like seeing that happen. And so yeah, I was always kind of just like the follower, yeah, and like if somebody else is planning something, like we'll come out, and but I didn't know how to start it myself, and talking through it with some of our other like our friends and stuff at that time it was hard to have those conversations with our friends who had kids or hadn't had kids because it was like they didn't get it.
Yep.
And so finding those people virtually where it was like they get it, that
Hmm.
was something that and even now, like I have conversations with people and I start talking disability and I'm so excited about it and I just see their eyes glaze over and I'm just like, I know. It was like, but like we're doing some really cool things and you should know
Yeah.
about this because
Yeah.
if I don't say it now, I don't know who else is going to know about this. And and you never know who you're talking to and what connection they might have down the line. And they're like, oh, yeah, you
Yes.
should check this out. And
Hmm.
now we've had quite a few of those
Yeah.
pieces happen.
Love it.
Um,
I think we should talk
so
about like the podcast and then the zoo event leading up to
right.
what we're offering.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So us just finding those other things, there were some virtual meetups happening and stuff that I had gone into and I was like, this is our community. Like this
Yeah.
is it. I'm willing to talk about how my kid is dealing with their potty training with a random 50-year-old like in another state
Yeah.
versus talking about it with like my closest friends.
Yeah.
So that's the weird part of that isolation is
Oh,
like the
yeah.
people are there, but I don't know how to talk to them about it with them like not understanding where I'm coming from with that.
Hmm.
But then yeah, like the virtual forums and stuff where Allie and I connected and then she DM'd me and I think I like saw it and that it was one of those where like I saw it and then got distracted by the kids doing something and it didn't follow up for like months.
Oh my God.
And so I'm so glad she followed back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave her a hard time
And
about that later.
yes,
I bet.
and I give myself like I that's one of those that like relives in my mind at 3 a.m. and I'm like I was such a dick. But we've come so far.
Yes.
So yeah, we ended up planning a meetup with some of our friends. Yeah, Donovan and Tyler were about a year and a half. Mackenzie's like the leader of the pack. She's a little older. So kids are kind of following what she's doing. And I'm getting her into a lot of cool things that I'm hoping everyone else wants to get into also. But yeah, we just met up like at an indoor playground up here. And what was she? Was she 4 at the time, maybe? And one of the other moms, Rachel, her son Miles, his limb difference, he was born with some of the parts of his hand were fused or like webbed. And so he has gone through the surgeries. And we can definitely connect you with her if she's interested in doing something like this. So they went through surgeries early on, and she had said that every year since he was born, they go to Brookfield Zoo out here in Brookfield, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And there's a wolf with 3 legs.
Oh.
And they say hi to Vivalette, I think is her name. They call her Vivi. And just have a like fun day at the zoo during April's Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month. And so we were like, let's come with you. Like, can we come? And we
Yeah.
were like, can we put it out to everybody else? So I made a Facebook invite and just posted it on some of our online forums. And we ended up getting 150 people to come out to
What?
that first meetup. Yeah, adults, kids with limb
Amazing.
differences. I think it was like 40 families.
It was
It was
Wow.
amazing.
like I'm getting goosebumps again because it's
Me
like, oh,
too.
they're here. Where
Yeah.
have you guys been? But now
Yeah.
let's keep this going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of big conversations were had after that. And it was like, okay, well, we need to keep making this happen.
Yeah.
Because the conversations that we were having with the other parents, and it was just like a lot of happy tears and just like the kids automatically like recognizing their peers in this person that they never met before, but they got it in that moment.
Yeah, seeing themselves in their
Yeah,
peers for the first time.
Yeah.
yeah, knowing they're not alone.
Yeah.
Um,
That's amazing.
So yeah, then
That led
Allie,
to the
yeah, Allie, you take it
podcast.
now.
Yeah. Jump in.
I
You
don't
know,
know why
so
you picked me out of all of everybody, but I was like, sure,
because you're
whatever.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because you're
Same.
awesome.
We are awesome. All of us are, but
So I think were we having brunch at my house with some of the other moms, and we were talking about starting a podcast. It was one of the first brunches I think we did. We
awesome.
were talking about starting a podcast that we felt like we needed a platform to reach out to other parents who were going through something similar.
Yeah.
And so we created a podcast called Parenting Children with Limb Differences, and it's been great. We have a global reach
Mm,
where people from all over the world have reached out to us
yeah.
and asked questions or just, said thank you for creating this because we felt really isolated and alone, like just
Yeah.
a similar feeling.
Yeah.
And to be able to connect and like reach people worldwide is more than we could have ever dreamed of
Mhm.
doing. We jokingly were like, well, if we can help at least one person, we're going to be satisfied. And then
Yeah.
lo and behold, we have this global reach now that we're very proud of.
And you should
And
be. That's amazing.
thank you, thank you. And then after starting, so we're on season 3 right now of the
Oh,
podcast,
yay.
which has been really great. We've interviewed a bunch of other moms and parents who have walked a similar walk.
Sure.
And we also focus on interviewing resources.
Love it.
So hospitals and clinics and OT professionals. And who else, Carrie? I mean, just a ton of
Authors. We've had
authors.
children's book authors and of like people with limb differences, and they've written their own books, and it's been neat to share that their story and then their book with
Yeah.
everybody.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience just having these conversations with these just very real people, real
Yeah.
raw, authentic people who are also just looking to connect.
Yeah.
Because at our core, that's really what we want. We want connection.
Yeah. We want to
So
feel
it's
like we're not
been,
alone in this journey. That feels
Yeah.
so isolating.
Well, and that was something that stood out to me was both of your stories when you were telling, like right after you guys kind of accepted what was going on, the next thing both of you did was go look for community of some sort to
Mm.
and
yes.
relatability. So kind of comes
And
Yeah.
through in
and
that
yeah,
sense.
it's so important. It's that definitely has helped us so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even then, like there's still the
And
challenges
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and everybody's gonna have you can find your people and only have enough of those people to, and we recognize that. And maybe like, yeah, while this isn't what you want to like get involved with, there's still so many other organizations too. And we want to recognize that. Like yesterday, or the last couple of days, we've been messaging with this mom down in Australia. And she was like, I don't know anybody around me. And I was like, hey, have you heard of this organization out of Australia? And they host events and like that. And she's like, oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh,
I'm going
wow.
to look into that now. And it's
Yeah.
like, and it's, even if we're not where you find that connection, or you find that connection and learn from
Yeah.
something that we talk about or share on our resource like hub. I think that is important, because there's a lot of information out there, but it's not always easy to find.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, after that first meetup and starting the podcast, and they were like, we can do more also. Like I've had so many just like Instagram people and books and websites that I have like 60 pages, 60 like different tabs open. And just like, I know like there's so much that I want to share in all these
Yeah.
different camps and athletic programs and stuff. Like, I want to get involved with these,
Hmm.
like, and I'm sure somebody else does. So
Yeah.
so we decided like, let's take it to the next step. And yeah, then when we were starting to organize for the second annual meetup last year, which we had 230 people come,
Oh,
like 60
yay.
families. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, how can we support these families to come? Because, yeah, some of them have a lot of family members and stuff. And so, can we raise money to help those families get through the gates and stuff?
We wanted to make it
Um,
more accessible. So
Sure.
yeah.
each year we have either raised the money or we've had a sponsor who's covered the cost of tickets
Love it.
because accessibility was really important to us. We didn't want someone to not show up because they didn't have the funds
Yeah.
to come.
Yeah.
So that was really important to us. And as Carrie was saying, like connecting people with other resources. If what we're doing here in the Chicagoland doesn't resonate with you, we
Mhm.
probably know of another organization that we can connect you with that maybe is a better fit,
Yeah.
right? Or is more local to where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able, go ahead.
It reminds me of like the butterfly effect, right? Like you're doing your thing in like one spot, but because of that, you can touch other people significantly other places. And like you said, provide resources for them that they didn't even know existed. Sometimes I don't think people know where to go to look either. And it's
Yeah. And I think
overwhelming.
that was a really big, important part in creating our website, which Carrie designed so beautifully.
Love
And
it.
she was able, all of those tabs that she was talking about earlier that she had open, she was able to kind of condense and put everything in this website,
Yeah.
differencecollective.org. And I think that this is such an important resource for our
Mhm.
community because all of that research that we've done over the last 6 years
Mhm. Is on there.
is there
Love it.
and available for the next family.
Love it. That's
And
so beautiful.
yeah, that was like the gaps that we saw. Like, obviously, since, yeah, there are there's so much out there. And we have it like an events page, because it's like, okay, there's people hosting like walks or fundraisers and stuff. Like, put it on our events page so people can be part of that, or like any of the bigger or like competitions that are coming up. Because, like I said earlier, I'm a coach. And so I have like national competitions on my personal calendar. Like, okay, it's my athlete's going to be going to this. And it's like those sorts of programs everybody should know about, because you never know when you might find like sports is going to be your thing. And like,
Yeah.
okay, there's this competition. And unfortunately, like in the disability space, you're going to have to travel with a lot of things.
Sure.
And so, recognizing that, like, if you get into the sports side of it, travel is a big piece of it, because there's only so much in our communities that you got to go outside of the state to
Mhm.
find another community to compete against. So yeah, with the USOPC and that US Olympic and Paralympic Committee, there's different national governing bodies through that. And then each individual sport, or Move United is another like overarching umbrella of the different adaptive sports. So I'm following those and I'm putting those out on there. If there's somebody on Instagram that's like, okay, we're going to be having this conference or event and stuff, I try to get that onto our calendar also. So yeah, it's like all that information that is out there. But I think it can kind of help these organizations or these businesses to just to help feed people into those as
Yeah.
well. Because yeah, they can shout it from the rooftops, but if it's not reaching the right people, nobody's going to show up.
Right. And we want those things to continue so people have connection and
Exactly.
support. So it's obviously important to support them and to promote
Right.
their events.
Yeah. And so, yeah, with all of this is about collaboration. We want
For sure.
to lift everybody up. We're not asking for like them to pass the torch or anything. We just want to share a little light. And yeah, because there's so much light that we've found, and we want everybody to be aware of it. And a lot of that was like the gaps that we saw in everything that we were learning about.
Which then led us to decide, okay, how can we do more and create even more impact than we already have? And we decided last year to start a 501c3, and it is called Limb Difference Collective Foundation.
Love it.
And after lots of red tape and paperwork and dealing with the IRS and the Attorney General's office, and yeah, we are now an officially registered 501c3.
Love it.
Is super exciting. And we
Yeah.
have a variety of different things that we're working on. Our website is a great resource, yes, but we're doing even more, right? The community meetups is one of our huge initiatives. So we're going to continue this April 25th, 2026 at Brookfield Zoo with another meetup. And we hope there are even more
Podcast.
families that
Right.
can come out. Yep. And then the podcast and continuing to interview people on the podcast.
Yes.
And then our Hugs in a Box initiative that we just launched. Let us tell you a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So we decided to create these care packages, thoughtfully curated care packages for parents who are just starting out navigating this journey, because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
And we want every parent, or the next parent, right, the next group of parents, to have this resource. And what's in the Hug in a Box is this, again, these two thoughtfully put together booklets. That one is resources and the other is like an FAQ intro, like welcome to the community, and is just packed with a lot of like really helpful information. We also have in the box a little stuffy with a limb difference. We have
still developing. Like
yes, still
we
in
put some
development.
feelers out there to some of the like bigger names, and there's a cost to all of it.
Yeah.
And like just even looking at just getting our own, it's pricey. And they're like, okay, yeah, like at this cost, we can send you 500 stuffed animals with one left arm limb difference. And like that's the minimum. It's like, oh boy. So I've just been like, Mackenzie loves it. She loves being part of this, where she helps me like cut off the arm of a stuffed animal, and then we either sew it shut or sew it around. And I'm not a great sewer, so I there's a local person who teaches sewing, and I've been meaning to reach out to her. Like, I want to make this make sense and not like fall off. But
we also
we just love that sort of like just a tangible thing that the kids
provides
can
comfort.
have. Yeah.
And then shout out to Easy Hold, who we have the Easy Hold has gifted us with, is it 100? Easy Hold devices, tools.
So it's a silicone grip that goes onto like a pencil. So it's like, it looks like a little bone with two holes at the end of it, and it slides one side on the pencil, one side on the other side of the pencil, and then they can put their nubby in there. So we had some like early on, and Mackenzie would paint with both hands and stuff. It can help with like with
Feeding.
the feeding and everything like that. Or like we had it on maracas so she could shake her maracas with both hands. And at her like winter school performance last year, she had it and then they gave her the wooden sticks and she was able to put it on the wooden sticks so she could play the music right along with her peers and stuff. So
Amazing.
those little things that make a big difference that you don't even think about. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that will
that's
definitely
a
be
really fun
used
tool.
for exactly. Yeah,
Love it.
it's a great tool and will be used for our upper limb different friends.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this kind of developed off of there's a group out of the UK, Limbo Foundation, and they provide a care package for families in the UK, and they're willing to send it to anybody too. And it's an amazing resource, but a lot of it is UK based. And
Mhm.
so we have them on the podcast and conversations with them. We're like, can we adapt this to be something that applies to the States and some of the programs that are happening over here? They're like, and they were so sweet and
Yeah, they gave
absolutely,
us
they
their
were more than
blessing.
happy to, yeah, gives the go ahead. Because that's always the concern is like,
Yeah.
we don't want you thinking that we're copying you. We just like think that this is amazing and we want
Yeah.
it to reach more people. And so, yeah,
We've developed all our own material too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
So, yeah, it's really
Yeah, so
exciting.
I'm
It's a
excited.
lot of hard work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
For
now
sure.
we're talking with another a person in our community to see if they can help us with translating it to Spanish because there's a lot of Spanish speakers out there who also could use these resources
Yeah.
and maybe take that to the next level. And right now, some of the resources are based in the Chicagoland area, and that's going to be our first effort because it's what we know, and trying to get into the hospitals and medical professionals and stuff to share with them these resources so that they can see what it is
Yeah.
that people can do after they're born and come to you, and you can give
Yep.
them something like this.
Yeah.
And if we can work with other states and families out there that they can help us like kind of specify some things for them, I think that would be amazing too.
Yeah. For sure. You guys are making big moves. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. And I know you already mentioned your names and how people can find you, but let's just throw it out there one more time and we will absolutely include it in the show notes so people have resources and they can connect for support and listen to your podcast and just grow with you as well.
Yeah, thank you. So the website is limb, Limb, difference collective.org. And you can find all the information that we were talking about earlier on the website.
Beautiful.
And we also have, again, the podcast Parenting Children with Limb Differences. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. If you're interested in listening again to our stories and the stories of others or looking for resources, um, it, most of our resources are based in the that we have on the podcast. The guests that we've had have been Chicago based, but there are some like the UK, the Limbo Foundation, like Kari mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
So there's some resources that are spread out as well.
Love it.
And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Limb
Yay.
Difference Collective.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And do you have any lasting, like impactful words for our listeners?
Kari, I mean, you're really good
I'm
with the last words.
I would just, yeah, kind of say you could do it alone, but you don't have to. There's a lot of information out there, and if there's something that you do want information on and we don't have it, I love my research and I would love to help you find it.
Awesome.
And if you're having that question, I'm sure somebody else is. And so we're happy to help develop what that could look like, whether it's an article or in our newsletter touching on some things. And we're just excited to see this community grow with existing families and future families. And we hope that you can find that connection and like we have.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was
Thanks
great.
for having us. This has been
Our
wonderful.
What stands out most in this conversation isn't just the podcast Ali and Kari have created. It's the why behind it. It's the refusal to let families sit in silence. It's the belief that information should come with compassion. And it's the understanding that healing doesn't always mean fixing. Sometimes it means belonging. If you are a parent navigating a diagnosis or someone who supports families in this space, we encourage you to seek out the work of Ali and Kari. What they are doing through parenting children with limb differences and the community they are building is phenomenal. And as always, our hope here at Born for This Stories is simple: to remind you that you are not alone, that your questions are valid, and that even in the most unexpected journeys, you were never meant to walk them by yourself. Thanks for being here. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to take one simple step. Share it with a friend, another parent, or a caregiver who might need to know they are not alone in this journey. Make sure you are subscribed so you will never miss an episode. We release new stories every Monday. And if you're looking for more connection, resources, or ways to share your own story, come join us on Instagram at Born for This Stories, or visit our website at bornforthisstories.com. Remember, whatever part of the journey you're in, the waiting room, the recovery, or the in-between, you do not have to carry it alone. We see you, we stand with you, and never forget, you were born for this.